It showed something else. Something colder. But he wasn't ready for what came next. He thought the worst she could do was steal. He was wrong. One Tuesday morning, just after his board meeting ended, his personal assistant rushed into his office, breathless. "Sir, there's a problem." "What is it?" Michael asked. "It's about Madam Ruth. She just sent an email blast to everyone. Board members, clients, partners, even the press." Michael frowned and opened his laptop. There it was, a mass email sent from Ruth's company address. The subject line: "The truth about Michael Emmanuel." He clicked it. And what he saw turned his blood cold. The email was full of false accusations. That Michael had been secretly dating her. That she had proof he made promises to marry her in exchange for work. That he used her, and now wanted to ruin her because she had his child. That he was abusing his position as CEO, using women and throwing them away. Attached were carefully cropped photos, pictures of them sitting together in the garden, of Michael holding baby Samuel, even one where he was handing her a gift bag. Completely innocent moments, now twisted into lies. The message ended with, "If anything happens to me or my son, let this be the record. The world needs to know what he truly is." Michael felt like the ground had opened under him. He stood up and stared out the window, silent. Calls started flooding in. His lawyer, his business partners, even a journalist from a gossip blog. "Michael, is it true? Did you really promise her marriage? Are you hiding a child?" The damage was instant. In less than an hour, Ruth had burned everything. Later that evening, security footage showed Ruth leaving the company compound with baby Samuel, 2 bags, and a cold smile on her face. She knew what she was doing. Michael didn't cry. He just sat down in his study, closed the door, and whispered, "This was the woman I helped. The one I fed. The one I trusted." It was betrayal on a level he never saw coming. She had taken his kindness and turned it into a weapon. The next morning, social media exploded. Screenshots of Ruth's email were everywhere. Blog headlines screamed, "CEO accused of abandoning baby mama. Michael Emmanuel exposed by former staff. Mystery woman claims baby and betrayal." Michael's name was trending, for all the wrong reasons. His company shares dropped. A few clients paused their deals. His phone wouldn't stop ringing. Still, Michael said nothing to the press. No interviews. No press release. No online statements. But behind closed doors, he was working. First, his lawyer filed a defamation case against Ruth. Second, his IT team recovered her deleted emails and message drafts, including the original forged documents and fake love notes she had planned to send out. Third, he handed everything to a private investigator, who began digging into Ruth's past. Within a week, the truth began to surface. Ruth had lied to 3 different churches in the past, telling people she was abused, pregnant, or robbed, just to get money or housing. In one town, she changed her name entirely. In another, she faked a pregnancy and disappeared just before the due date. She had done this before. Michael gathered the facts. Quietly. Calmly. Then he called a private press conference. Standing at a podium in his blue suit, he looked directly at the cameras. "I have made mistakes in showing kindness without setting boundaries," he said. "But I have never abused anyone, emotionally, physically, or financially. I helped someone out of the rain, gave her shelter, gave her a job, and in return, I was betrayed." Then, he dropped a folder of evidence on the table. Bank records. Tampered financial reports. Audio messages from Ruth's old phone. A full background report. Silence filled the room. Ruth, who had been hiding in a shortlet apartment in Asakoro, saw the press conference live on her phone. She dropped the phone. Her hands were shaking. The blog comments had changed from sympathy to rage. "This woman is wicked. How do you betray someone who helped you? She should be arrested." 2 days later, Ruth received a court letter. She was being sued for defamation, fraud, and theft. The bank had frozen the Joy Musa account. A warrant was being prepared for questioning. She tried to call Michael. He didn't pick. And for the first time in her life, Ruth felt fear. Real fear. Ruth tried to escape. With baby Samuel tied to her back, she left the shortlet apartment quietly. Her plan was to cross the border to Cotonou, using a fake name and a little help from a friend. But her bank accounts were frozen. She had no money. And Samuel was getting sick. She sold her phone, booked a cheap bus to Ogun State, and hid in a rundown guest house. The next morning, there was a loud knock on the door. "Police! Open up." It was over. She didn't run. She just cried. Michael read the news hours later. Ruth John arrested while trying to flee with child, facing fraud and defamation charges. He closed the newspaper and looked out the window. He didn't feel anger, just deep sadness. Ruth sat alone in the police cell. No baby, no phone. And for the first time, she whispered, "Lord, what have I done?" Ruth stood in court, eyes swollen, hands shaking. She faced charges of fraud, theft, defamation, and attempted escape. The courtroom was full. Cameras flashed. Reporters scribbled. She expected Michael to testify against her. But when he entered, dressed in a plain gray suit, everyone turned. He walked to the front, looked straight at her, and said, "I won't press charges." Everyone gasped. The judge leaned forward. "Are you sure, Mr. Michael?" Michael nodded. "Let the law do its work. But I'm not here for revenge. I'm here to protect my peace and my son's future." Everyone froze. "My son." Ruth burst into quiet tears. Michael looked at her one last time. "You tried to ruin me, but I won't let bitterness ruin me too." Then he walked out. Ruth felt remorseful for what she had done. But the harm had already been done. She now lived in a quiet church-run shelter in Jos. She worked in the kitchen, helped clean, and attended Bible study. Her court sentence had been reduced to community service and probation because Michael refused to press charges. Every Sunday, she sat at the back of the church, holding baby Samuel, now walking and full of joy. She often whispered in his ear, "You saved me again, my son. This time, I won't waste it." Far away, Michael sat on the balcony of his home, watching the sky. He still hadn't married. He still kept Samuel's toy lion on his shelf. But his heart had healed. One thing he now knew: kindness is never a mistake, but it must come with wisdom.